How to talk yourself into taking climate action. I am Cecilia Grandi-Nagashiro and I'm a sustainable consumption researcher. Our planet is on fire. Let's take a look. This image shows the change in global surface temperature in the past 100 years. Consequences of this change are extreme weather events, species loss, famine. So we cannot help but wonder, what can we do about it? Before answering that, let's take a few steps back. Where did it all start? In one word, carbon. Carbon coming from our need to live, eat, work, and travel, multiplied by 8 billion people. Of course, there's nothing wrong with trying to live our lives to the fullest. The problem is that all this human activity has turned into patterns of consumption that are unsustainable. Excessive consumerism, overexploitation of natural resources, and unethical production practices are just some of its negative consequences. More important is the question of where are these patterns of consumption leading us? Well, let me illustrate with a quote that I like very much. Each year, we take away 1.3 billion tons of material from our planet and deposit them into landfills, which form a parallel planet. This planet differs from the main planet in that it is not a living planet. It has no metabolism. It's an eternal sink of material. How many generations will it take for the parallel planet to do away with the resources that sustain life on the main planet? This grim future doesn't seem far away. 1.3 billion tons a year. Let's just think about it for a second. We would think that information like this could be enough for us to take immediate action. But the reality is that we don't do anything. What is holding us back? Actually, all of these barriers. Environmental numbness, which is a numbness in our response to climate news and information. Uncertainty about the consequences of climate change. Ignorance and limited knowledge about its causes and how to act properly. Judgmental discounting, the belief that even if we did take action, it wouldn't make any difference. Optimism bias, the belief that somehow everything will be alright. Techno-salvation, the belief that new technology will be developed and save us. Perceived inequity, thinking, why should we take action if others don't? Social comparisons, for example, trying to be the same as everyone else and not daring to break social norms, however harmful they might be to us and to our environment. Finally, conflicting goals and aspirations. And there's many more. I am just showing you some of the main ones. But at the same time, all this mental trickery is not our fault. Research has shown that indeed, this is how we are programmed to react to such a complex problem, such as climate change. But the question comes back, what do we do? What do you do? You're not a policymaker, a politician, you are just a person living your life the best you can. Well, based on my research and the work of many others, I can tell you that indeed, behavior is very complex. Just take a look at this mind map of the enablers and the areas to sustainable behaviors. It seems very complicated. However, I am here to tell you that you can actually talk yourself into taking climate action in 3 simple steps. The first step is get personal with climate change. The idea here is that we internalize this problem and we make it our own. Climate change is such an abstract issue that is very easy to overlook. So to do this, you have to ask yourself a few key questions. The first question to ask is, what is happening, what is climate change, and what is my role in it. Then ask yourself, why is this happening? Here you have to learn and get informed, sensitize yourself to environmental news and facts to fight numbness and apathy. The next important question is, who is doing this? Who is supporting this system that has created this problem? We need to stop justifying the system and be open to breaking social norms. After all, the fact that things have been done this way all the time doesn't mean we have to keep repeating the same patterns. Last question is, how can I tackle this problem? First, think about your goals and aspirations in a way that you can rebuild and reconcile your conflicting values and worldviews in favor of more sustainable lifestyle choices. The really last question is, when should I do it? This question about time frames. But let me tell you that no matter what speed you go, the important thing is to stay engaged. Step number 2 is get into the right mindset. Change has to come from within. You must stop waiting for top-down change. Let me give you 3 simple tools you can use: mindfulness, nature connectedness, and self-interest. This will not only help you take action, but will make you happier. Research on what drives sustainable behaviors has concluded that mindfulness can definitely help us. Mindfulness is the ability to slow down and perceive the world in a different way. And it was found to be linked to not only sustainable behaviors, but also well-being. The second tool is nature connectedness, the extent to which we feel close to nature. Research published this year showed that visiting nature once a week was positively associated with general health and household sustainable behaviors. Moreover, nature connectedness was found to be linked to mindfulness, as shown in this diagram. So, my suggestion is that to boost this connection, you should start by observing nature around you. You can start gardening or even watching documentaries. Lastly, you should not be afraid of being self-interested. There is evidence that we engage more in sustainable behaviors that bring personal benefits. For example, you're more likely to bring your tumbler because it saves money and it's also trendy to be eco. Step number 3 is decide what to do. Where to start? Very common question that I get asked by people starting their climate action journey. Behaviors are classified into 2 large categories, public and private. Public behaviors include activism, joining demonstrations, and voting. Private behaviors are mostly related to consumption and waste management, as shown in this diagram. Understanding behavior this way can be a bit complicated, but we can simplify it by answering a few questions. For example, in which context do you want to take action? Here you can choose to go for public behaviors, and if you do so, the question then is, are you socially active online or offline? On the other hand, if you choose to take action at home, the question that follows is about shopping and plastic waste. The point of this exercise is that by answering these simple questions, you can narrow down to specific actions that you can start doing today. One single action can in the long run turn into many more. Lastly, remember, in a gentle way, you can shape the world. You can find also your own way to do this, and instead it could be crazy, amazing, and inspiring. To answer the last question I posed in the abstract of this talk, can one person make a difference? Yes, because it is never only one person. It is you and me and everyone here, and together we can build an environmentally harmonious future. But the story of that future starts with you today. You decide.